Well, hello. I am live. I have been wanting to go live, but now that I'm live, I wonder, oh my God, I'm live. All right. Well, let me take a couple deep breaths and get started. So, I am Jean Bird of Jean B. Apothecary, and I have started a series called Metamorphosis in Motion. It is about my midlife transformation journey, trying to stay real and raw and check in every day, which is actually a really hard thing to do. So, up to today, I did not even have access to go live. So, I'd really like to do is make these days as I go through this series live episodes, and then I'm going to put together podcasts and do those. My goal is to do them weekly. So once I get started, hopefully we'll get a better view of what's going on. So anyway, I have started on Monday what I'm calling Metamorphosis in Motion. It is part of an overall alchemy of me. Um, I want the alchemy of me to be a podcast series. Anyway, I had an epiphany, and what I'm going to do is document the changes that I'm going through. And instead of waiting for everything to be perfect, because guess what? Nothing's ever going to be perfect, and I'm never going to start anything if I think that I need to be perfect. So I'm going live now in the hopes that I can get, I just chime in here a little bit. This is my first outside one too, and it's going to be a little tricky because I think we got a big storm rolling in, and I live not so far from the airport, so hopefully there's not a lot of extra noise. Anyway, I want to make these pretty short. I've already rambled on, so what I wanted to talk about today is learning to say no. And I don't understand why it's so hard, but it's one of the hardest things for me to say. I will be um, I can't think of the word. I'll be sort of snippy or sarcastic or passive aggressive instead of just simply saying no. And I was reminded today about how much impact that can have and how it can really save a lot of um, hard feelings. So I'm going about my day. We're getting ready to go do some errands, do some grocery shopping, and um, I have an errand to run to return something, and I thought, well, maybe instead of doing our normal thing, we'll go to a different store, uh, same store but different location, and go to the butcher that I've been talking about doing for a really long time, and then make the return of this thing I had. And so my son says, well, when we go out, before I even said that, he said, well, can we get something to eat? And I said, no, you can get something to eat at the store. Now, this is kind of becoming a little sticking point for me lately. And so it's kind of already that question just sort of triggered me a little bit. And then, so I said, no, you can get something at the store. And then as I proceed to offer up another alternative for how we can do things today, he then said, and then can we get something to eat? And I said, we'll just do things the way we always do them. And he said, um, you could have just said no. So I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I could have just said no. And so I said, yes, of course, you are right. I could have just said no. So, no, you can still just get something at the store. And we proceeded on our way, and everything was fine. So that's just the smallest example of how something like saying no can become something unnecessarily big. But I have trouble with boundaries. I am afraid for some reason that if I say no, then I'm going to disappoint people. They're going to be upset with me, and I don't want to be the cause of someone else's upset. So, I have a tendency to go against my boundaries. I don't keep them firm, and I do what other people want me to do. And it's very simple to just say no and hold to that. So that is something I'm going to keep working on, not making things into something big, something they don't need to be. And I think that will go, it'll go a long way for me and not feeling resentful or, I think resentful is kind of a big thing, or like I'm martyring myself or something like that. Like those are not good feelings to have. So I'm going to continue doing what was suggested of me. And if I don't want to do something, I can just say no. So we'll see how that works out. I'll follow up on that in a later day, I'm sure. Again, this if you want to keep following along, I mean, we're on this journey. If you're with me, hopefully you can be part of this journey uh, with me if you're going through your own transformation, if you're thinking about it, if you're just curious about what's going on, how people make transformations, follow along, hit the subscribe button. I am coming back every day. That's keeping me honest. It's sort of my accountability plan here. And I guess that's all. So why don't you have a great night tonight if you're watching this, or a great day if you're watching this in the future. And I will see you next time. And check if you don't have any idea what I'm talking about now, you just go back and start at day one. They're really short. These are really short videos. The podcast will come up and they'll be a bit longer form. But for now, see you tomorrow. I don't even know how to stop this thing. So you're going to see me longer now. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I am live and I will go to what? Oh, there's a button that says end stream. See, I'm totally new at this. Well, maybe not totally, but I'm pretty darn new at this. All right. So bye. See you next time.